At the final Democratic presidential debate of the year, candidates on the attack.
I've got to respond.
This clash between Senator Elizabeth Warren and Mayor Pete Buttigieg stealing the spotlight.
The mayor just recently had a fundraiser that was held in a wine cave full of crystals and served $900 a bottle wine. Think about who comes to that.
Senator, your net worth is 100 times mine.
I do not sell access to my time. I don't do call time with millionaires and billionaires.
Sorry, these purity tests shrink the stakes of the most important election.
Buttigieg, who is rapidly rising in the polls in Iowa and New Hampshire, also taking heat from Senator Amy Klobuchar over his resume.
Winning matters. I think a track record of getting things done matters.
If you want to talk about the capacity to win, try putting together a coalition to bring you back to office with 80% of the vote as a gay dude in Mike Pence's Indiana.
The debate just one day after the historic House vote in favor of President Trump's removal from office.
It was a constitutional necessity for the House to act as it did.
Among the 7 candidates on stage, 3 U.S. senators set to act as jurors at Mr. Trump's impeachment trial. The night including frontrunner Joe Biden sharing this personal anecdote about connecting with voters on the trail.
There's not one line I go through that I don't have at least a half a dozen people come up and hug me and say, "Can you help me? I just lost my daughter 10 days ago. Can you help me? Tell me I'm going to be okay." The little kid who says, I can't talk. What do I do? I have scores of these young women and men who I keep in contact with.
This morning, former White House press secretary Sarah Sanders facing backlash after mocking that moment in a since-deleted tweet, apologizing after saying she was not aware of Biden's own struggles with a speech impediment. Biden hitting back. "I've worked my whole life to overcome a stutter, and it's my great honor to mentor kids who have experienced the same. It's called empathy. Look it up." The night including a few lighthearted moments, too.
Put your hand down for a second, Bernie, okay?
Just waving to you, Joe.
I know.
Saying hello.
I know.